The ship Harmony's dream shook violently as another blast hit its shields. Ambassador Aura gripped the console, her three-fingered hands trembling. The peaceful diplomatic mission had turned into a nightmare. 3 raider ships surrounded them, firing without mercy. "Shields at 20%, her pilot reported, his voice tight with fear. "We cannot survive much longer." Aura knew this was true. They had no weapons. They never needed them. For thousands of years they lived in peace, creating art and music, sharing it with the galaxy. Violence was something they only read about in history files. Now it was killing them. "Send the distress signal," Aura ordered. "Use the emergency frequency. The consortium will come." The pilot worked quickly, his fingers dancing across the controls. The ship shook again. Sparks flew from a damaged panel. The distress signal went out, encoded with their location and a simple message: "Urgent assistance needed. Under attack. Civilian vessel. Will not survive another hour." What Aura did not know was that the communications array was damaged. The signal broadcast much wider than intended, spreading across dozens of frequencies, reaching far beyond consortium space. 3 hours away, Captain Jin stood on the bridge of the human exploration vessel Pioneer's Edge. He was reviewing stellar charts when his communications officer called out. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal. It's weak but clear." Walked over to the station, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. He was a tall man with sharp eyes and graying hair at his temples. Years in the Earth Defense Force had taught him to recognize trouble. "Play it," he said. The bridge fell silent as the message played. The voice was strange, musical, but the translation software worked quickly. The words appeared on the screen. "Someone's in trouble," said Commander Li Wu, the first officer. He was younger than, with a careful, precise manner. "But this sector isn't our jurisdiction, Captain. We're explorers, not a military vessel." "We're the closest ship," said Dr. Han 1, looking up from her console. They had been studying the signal's origin. "I'm reading 3 hours to their location. Any consortium ship would take at least 6 hours." Studied the data. Dr. Han was brilliant with languages and alien cultures. If she said 3 hours, it was 3 hours. He looked at the distress message again. "Civilian vessel, under attack." "That's 3 hours they might not have," said quietly. "Sir, we should consider the implications," Li Wu said. "We've only been in galactic space for 5 years. Interfering in other species' affairs could cause diplomatic problems." Turned to face his first officer. "When did helping people in danger become interference?" The bridge was quiet. Everyone waited for the captain's decision. "Dr. Han, what do we know about these?" asked. Han pulled up information on her screen. "They're known throughout the galaxy as artists and peacemakers, completely non-violent. There has no predators larger than what we'd call a house cat. They've contributed more music and art to galactic culture than any other species." "And the attackers?" "Raiders, pirates. They attack weak targets and steal cargo. They're not very advanced, but they have weapons and no morals." Made his decision. "We didn't come to the stars to ignore people dying. Helm, set course for those coordinates, maximum speed." "Yes, sir." Pilot's fingers flew across his controls. The ship turned smoothly, engines pushing to full power. "Lee, get security chief to prepare a team. If we're walking into a fight, I want to be ready." "Understood, Captain." As the ship accelerated, Engineer Park Woo-jin called from the engine room. "Captain, pushing the engines this hard, we'll get there in 2.5 hours instead of 3. "Good work, Park. Keep them running smooth." Dr. Han approached the captain's chair. "Sir, there's something you should know. I accessed the galactic database about human classification. And Earth is listed as a Class 12. That's one of the highest danger ratings. Most species can't survive on our planet for more than a few hours. The high gravity, the weather, the predators, even our bacteria would kill them." frowned. So what does that make us? Species that evolved on extremely dangerous planets. There aren't many in the galaxy. Most intelligent life comes from peaceful worlds. The planet has gravity half of Earth's. Their air is gentler. Their worst storm is like a light breeze to us. They don't know we're coming to help them, do they? Han shook her head. They sent their signal to consortium frequencies. We only received it because their transmitter was damaged. Captain, if they know humans answered their call, they might be more afraid of us than the raiders. Considered this. It was strange to think that trying to help might scare people, but he understood. Humanity was new to the galactic community. They were still learning how different they were from other species. We'll deal with that when we get there, said. Right now someone needs help, that's all that matters. The pioneers edge raced through space. On the bridge, the crew prepared for what they might find. Security Chief Na assembled her team, checking weapons and armor. Engineer Park monitored every system, making sure nothing would fail when they needed it most. Dr. Han studied everything she could find about both ends. Commander Lee stood beside the captain's chair. Sir, what if the raiders don't back down? We're not a warship. Looked at the countdown timer. 2 hours and 15 minutes until they arrived. Then we'll do what humans have always done, Commander. We'll improvise. We'll adapt. We'll protect those who can't protect themselves. Lee nodded slowly. Despite his concerns, he trusted his captain. The ship rushed through the darkness of space, carrying humanity's first real test among the stars. None of them knew that this single decision would change everything. The galaxy thought they knew what humans were. They were wrong. Far ahead, the Harmony's dream shuddered under another attack. Shields failed. Hull breaches appeared. Aura closed her eyes, preparing for the end. She did not know that help was coming. She did not know that her distress signal had reached the most dangerous species in the galaxy. She did not know that sometimes the scariest monsters were the ones who chose to be heroes. The Pioneer's edge dropped out of faster-than-light travel, and Captain immediately saw the situation was bad. The ship was barely holding together. Pieces of debris floated around it. 3 raiders circled like sharks around wounded prey. Shields up. Red alert, ordered calmly. Communications, hail all vessels. The flickered to life. A face appeared, covered in thick scales and sharp teeth. The raider captain looked surprised, then amused. Unknown vessel, this is not your concern. Leave now or join the prey. Kept his voice level. This is Captain Jin of the Earth vessel Pioneer's Edge. You are attacking a civilian ship. Stop your attack and withdraw. The laughed a harsh sound. Earth, never heard of it. You have a small ship and big words. We are 3, you are 1. Do you really want to die for these weak? Last warning, said. Withdraw or face consequences. This laughter grew louder. You amuse me, unknown species. Watch how we deal with foolish heroes. The screen went dark. Immediately, one of the ships turned toward the Pioneer's Edge and fired. Evasive maneuvers, commanded. Pilot's hands moved like lightning. The ship twisted and rolled, dodging the incoming fire with movements so sharp that most species would have been knocked unconscious by the G-forces. The human crew barely felt it. Target their weapon systems, fire ordered. The Pioneer's Edge might have been an exploration vessel, but humanity had learned a hard lesson in their history. Never go anywhere without some way to defend yourself. The ship's weapons were meant for clearing debris and deterring threats, but in the right hands, they were deadly. Their shots hit with perfect accuracy. The raiders' weapons exploded. The ship spun out of control, trying to stabilize. 2 raiders moving to attack positions, Li Wu reported. They're trying to surround us. Launch countermeasures, bring us around. Let's show them what a pilot can do. The ship moved in ways that should have been impossible for a vessel its size. Had trained in Earth's atmosphere, where storms and wind made flying an art form. Space combat was almost easy compared to flying through a hurricane. "Captain, I'm getting a signal from the ship," Dr. Hand said. "They're begging us to leave. They say we cannot win and should save ourselves." "Tell them we're not leaving," replied Lee, status on security chief. "Her team is ready, sir, waiting for your order." Watched the tactical display. They were regrouping, probably confused by how effectively the humans fought. He needed to end this quickly before they called for reinforcements. "We're going to board the damaged raider. You're authorized for action." In the ship's armory, Security Chief checked her team's equipment one last time. 6 humans, all former military, all trained for hostile environments. Their armor was heavy by galactic standards, but humans barely noticed the weight. "Remember," said to her team, "most species can't handle our combat style. Move fast, stay aggressive, and watch each other's backs." The boarding shuttle launched. It crossed the space between ships in seconds. They tried to shoot it down but controlled it remotely with inhuman precision, dodging every shot. The shuttle attached to the raider's hull. Steam cut through the airlock in seconds. They poured into the ship, weapons ready. The inside were not prepared for what they faced. Human soldiers moved through their ship like water, flowing around obstacles, coordinating without speaking. When the raiders tried to fight, they found themselves outmatched. Humans could operate in zero oxygen using suits. Humans could handle extreme temperatures. Humans could take damage that would cripple other species and keep fighting. Most terrifying of all, humans could think clearly in combat situations that would send others into panic. Within 10 minutes, the raider ship was secured. Half the crew surrendered. The other half fled in escape pods. "Raider 1 is neutralized, Captain," reported. "Minimal casualties on our side. Some bruises, nothing serious." On the bridge of the second ship, the raider captain watched in horror. These unknown humans had just boarded and captured one of his ships in minutes. His crew was afraid. He was afraid. "What are they?" his second-in-command whispered. The captain accessed his ship's database, searching for any information about Earth and humans. What he found made his blood run cold. Class 12. Dominant species evolved through persistence hunting, capable of running prey to exhaustion, extreme environmental adaptability, high damage resistance, pack hunting tactics, uses tools and weapons with exceptional skill. There were warnings in the file. Red warnings. Do not engage in ground combat. Do not allow boarding. Do not assume peaceful intentions based on vessel type. "They're from the captain said quietly, "a high grade." His crew began to panic. Everyone in the galaxy knew about places where simply landing would kill you, where the environment itself was hostile, where the native species had to be impossibly tough just to survive. Species from were rare. Most died out before reaching space. The few that made it were universally dangerous. "New plan," the raider captain said. "We're leaving now." "But Captain, the—" "Forget them. I'm not dying to impress the clan. Retreat." The 2 remaining ships turned and jumped to faster-than-light speed, abandoning the fight completely. On the Pioneer's edge, everyone stared at in surprise. "They're running," said confused. "Scan for more ships," ordered. "Make sure this isn't a trick." But it was no trick. The raiders were gone. The battle was over. "Open a channel to the ship," said. They showed Ambassador Aura. She looked fragile, her large eyes wide with shock. Behind her, others worked frantically on damaged systems. They all looked terrified. "This is Captain. The raiders have retreated. You're safe now. We'll escort you to the nearest station for repairs." Aura's voice shook when she spoke. You are human." "Yes, we received your distress call. But we did not send it to you. We sent it to the consortium, to our allies. How did you—" She stopped, understanding. "Our communications array was damaged. The signal went everywhere." "Yes, we were the closest ship, so we came." Aura looked at someone off-screen, then back at. "Captain, you should know. We have accessed the database. We know what Earth is. what you are. Felt a heavy weight in his chest. Here it comes, he thought, the fear. We know you are from a Class 12, Ara continued. We know your planet would kill most of us within hours. We know you are classified as extremely dangerous. The bridge of the Pioneer's Edge was silent. Ara bowed her head in the gesture of respect. And we know you came anyway. You fought for us. You saved us. Thank you, Captain, thank you. Felt relief wash over him. You're welcome, Ambassador. Now let's get you somewhere safe. As the two ships began moving together toward the nearest consortium outpost, Dr. Han approached the captain. Sir, we just announced ourselves to the galaxy in a big way. Nodded, I know, no going back now. We'll tell everyone what happened, that humans can fight, that we're dangerous. Let them, said quietly. Maybe next time they'll think twice before attacking peaceful species. Maybe they'll be afraid. And the other species, they'll be afraid too. Looked at the damaged ship on the screen. Then we'll show them there's nothing to fear from humans who choose to help rather than hurt. We'll prove that being strong doesn't mean being cruel. Commander Lee spoke up. You think the galaxy will understand that, sir? Eventually, said. We have to hope they will, because this is who we are. We're the ones who answer the call. Outpost Meridian appeared on the like a massive wheel spinning slowly in space. It was a consortium station, home to dozens of species and thousands of inhabitants. Captain had never seen anything like it. They're hailing us, the communications officer reported. Station commander wants to speak with you immediately. Put him through. The alien who appeared on screen looked like a large insect, with multiple eyes and antennae that twitched with agitation. Station commander did not look happy. Unidentified human vessel, you have entered consortium space without proper authorization. You are escorting a damaged diplomatic ship. Explain yourself immediately. Kept his voice respectful but firm. This is Captain Jin of the Pioneer's Edge. We responded to a distress call from the vessel Harmony's Dream. They were under attack by raiders. We provided assistance and are escorting them here for repairs. His antenna twitched faster. You interfered in an ongoing situation without consortium approval. This is a serious violation of protocol. The consortium handles all security matters in our space. With respect, Commander, by the time a consortium ship arrived, the would have been dead. We were 3 hours closer. That is not the point. His voice rose. You are a new species. You have no authority to take military action in consortium space. You should have reported the situation and waited for proper authorization. Before could respond, another voice cut in. Commander, this is Ambassador Ara of the Harmony's Dream. I must speak. A second screen appeared, showing the ambassador. She looked tired but determined. Commander, the humans saved our lives. They asked for nothing. They risked their ship and crew for strangers. If they had waited for authorization, my entire crew would be dead. I will not allow their good deed to be punished. Seemed caught off guard. Ambassador, I understand your gratitude, but there are rules and procedures. Rules that would have killed us, Ara interrupted. I am formally requesting that the Consortium Council review this matter. Until then, I insist the humans be treated as honored guests. His antenna drooped. He clearly did not want to argue with a respected ambassador whose life had just been saved. Very well, both ships are cleared for docking, but this matter is far from settled. The screen went dark. Well, Commander Lee said quietly, we've certainly made an impression. Let's hope it's the right kind, replied. The Pioneer's Edge docked without incident. As the crew prepared to disembark, Dr. Han pulled up news feeds from the Galactic Network. Her face went pale. Captain, you need to see this. The story had spread across the galaxy with incredible speed. Defeat raiders. Unknown human species displays combat superiority. Earth classified as extreme danger world. Some articles praised human heroism. Others expressed concern about humanity's military capabilities. Many species were debating whether humans should be welcomed or feared. "It's not all bad," Dr. Han said, scrolling through responses. "Many species are impressed. They are speaking highly of us across all channels, but some of the more cautious species are calling for restrictions on human travel." "Let them talk," said. "We did the right thing. History will prove that." The crew stepped onto the station and immediately felt the attention. Aliens of every shape and size stopped to stare at the humans. Some looked curious. Others looked afraid. A few looked hostile. Engineer Park Woojin walked beside. "Sir, I feel like an animal in a zoo." "Stay professional. Don't react to the stares." They were met by Ambassador Aura and her diplomatic team. They approached cautiously, clearly still nervous around humans despite their gratitude. "Captain," Aura said, bowing, "welcome to Outpost Meridian. My government has sent word. They wish to formally thank Earth for its heroism. They are preparing a statement for the Consortium Council." "That's not necessary, Ambassador. We were just doing what anyone should do." Aura's large eyes showed confusion. "But most species would not have done it. The risk was too great. You could have been destroyed. Why did you come?" "Thought about how to answer. Because someone needed help, that's reason enough." This seemed to puzzle Aura even more, but she nodded. "You are very different from what we expected, Captain. The database said humans were dangerous, but you are also kind." "We can be both," said. "Just like any species, I suppose." While the captain met with officials, Dr. Han and Engineer Park explored the station. Park had volunteered to help repair the Harmony's dream, and several engineers nervously accepted his assistance. As they worked together in the damaged ship's engine room, Park tried to make conversation. "How long have they been in space?" One of the engineers, a young male named N, answered carefully. "For 3,000 years. We have explored, created art, and lived in peace. Until today, I had never seen violence." Park paused in his work. "Never. Never. Our world has no large predators, no wars. Violence is something we only study in historical texts from other species." And looked at Park with his large, gentle eyes. "What is it like, coming from a world like Earth?" Park considered this. "It's all we know. Earth is beautiful but harsh. The weather can kill you. The animals can kill you. Even the bacteria can kill you if you're not careful, but it's home. It taught us to be strong, to adapt, to work together to survive." "And you brought those lessons to space," and said softly. "That is why you fight so well." "We fight well because we had to learn how to survive," Park agreed. "But that same harsh world also taught us the value of helping others. When things are difficult, you need your pack, your tribe, your community. We learned that beings are stronger together." And seemed to understand. Perhaps there is value in both types of worlds. Peaceful worlds create art and philosophy. Harsh worlds create strength and cooperation. "Maybe we can learn from each other," Park suggested. Meanwhile, Commander Lee discovered something troubling. He was reviewing station security logs when he noticed an encrypted communication from the station to an unknown source just before the attack on the. He brought this information to Captain immediately. "Someone on the station knew about the attack before it happened," Lee said. "Look at the timestamp. This message was sent 3 hours before the raiders appeared." "Study the data. Can you decrypt it?" "Not without station authority codes. But Captain, this suggests the attack wasn't random. Someone arranged it." "Why would anyone want to hurt they're diplomats, artists. They don't have enemies." Dr. Han joined them, having overheard. "Actually, sir, I've been researching. They were on their way to a major peace summit. They were going to mediate a trade dispute between two powerful factions." Began to understand, and if they never arrived, the summit would fail, Lee finished. Someone wanted that summit to fail badly enough to hire raiders to kill peaceful ambassadors. "This is bigger than we thought," said. We need to inform Ambassador Aura, and we need to figure out who's behind this. Security chief appeared at the door. Captain, we have a problem. The clans have put a bounty on our ship. They're calling us unworthy prey and saying we fight with savagery. They want revenge for the humiliation we caused them. Felt a headache forming. What started as a simple rescue mission was becoming increasingly complicated. "All right," he said to his senior staff. "We have multiple problems. Raiders want revenge. Someone on this station is working with them, and the galaxy is debating whether humans are heroes or monsters. Ideas." Dr. Han spoke first. "We need allies. We need other species to see us as more than just dangerous, to trust us now. That's a start." "Agreed," Li said. "But we also need to solve this conspiracy. If we can prove someone tried to assassinate diplomats, it might shift attention away from us." Park added, "And we need to help repair the Harmony's dream. Show that humans can build and create, not just fight and destroy." Had the most serious concern. "Captain, with a bounty on us, more raiders will come. This station could become a battlefield. We need to be ready." Made his decision. "We do all of it. Han, work with the to build cultural bridges. Li, investigate that encrypted message. Park, keep helping with repairs and making friends. Prepare defenses but keep them quiet. We don't want to scare anyone." "And you, sir?" Li asked. "I'm going to have a conversation with Commander. It's time the consortium understood that humans are here to help, whether they like it or not." The attack came 3 days later, without warning. 7 raider ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly outside Outpost Meridian. Alarms blared across the station. "All ships, this is Station Commander. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. All security personnel to defensive positions." Captain was already running to his ship when the announcement came. His crew had been on alert since they learned about the bounty. They reached the Pioneer's edge in minutes. "Status," shouted as he burst onto the bridge. 7 raider ships, pilot reported. "They're targeting both us and the ship. Station defenses are activating, but they're designed for deterrence, not real combat." "Of course they are," Commander Li muttered. "The consortium hasn't fought a real battle in centuries. They've forgotten how." The station shook as the first weapon struck its shields. All across Outpost Meridian, thousands of aliens panicked. Most species in the consortium had never experienced war. Violence was something distant, something that happened to other, lesser species. "Captain, they are calling," communications reported. "Ambassador Aura is requesting we evacuate them." "Negative," said. "Tell them to stay docked and seal their ship. We're going out there." "Sir, we're outnumbered 7-1, Li protested. "Then we'd better be smart. Take us out. Are your people ready?" Security chief's voice came through the intercom. "Armed and ready, Captain. Just point us at the targets." The Pioneer's edge undocked and moved to intercept the raiders. On his tactical display, could see the station's defense ships scrambling to organize. They moved slowly, uncertain, clearly not trained for combat. "The station's ships don't know what they're doing," Li observed. "Half of them are flying in random patterns. They'll shoot each other if they're not careful." "Then we'll have to show them how it's done. Communications, open a channel to all station defense ships. Let them hear our tactical coordination." His plan was simple. The consortium ships could learn by listening and watching. Humans had thousands of years of combat experience. Time to put it to use. "Attack pattern Delta. Target the lead raiders' engines. Prepare boarding teams. We're going to capture one of these ships and find out who hired them." The Pioneer's edge dove into the battle, flew with a skill that made the raiders' pilots look clumsy. The ship twisted and rolled, dodging fire that would have destroyed slower vessels. "Firing," Li announced. Their weapons hit with precision, crippling the lead raiders' engines. The other ships tried to surround them but had fought in 3-dimensional space before. He called out coordinates and maneuvers, his crew responding instantly. The station defense ships, listening to the human tactical chatter, began to coordinate better. Station Ship Meridian 7, watch your left flank, called out. Raider 3 is moving to target your engines. The station ship adjusted just in time, avoiding the attack. Its pilot, a being named from a species that looked like floating jellyfish, transmitted thanks. Human ship, we are learning. Your tactics are effective. Stay close to your wingman, advised. Don't try to be a hero, work together. The battle continued. Security Chief launched in a boarding shuttle with her team, heading for the disabled raider. They tried to shoot the shuttle down but controlled it remotely, dancing through weapons fire with impossible precision. The shuttle attached to the raider's hull. His team cut through and entered the ship. The inside prepared to fight, but they had learned their lesson from the last encounter. When humans boarded, resistance was usually futile. Securing the ship, reported. Captain, you need to hear this. I'm patching through the raider, Captain. A voice filled the bridge, speaking quickly, desperate to make a deal. We were hired. We were hired to attack the station. There were secondary targets. Someone wanted chaos during the peace summit. Who hired you? Demanded. Though a faction within their government, they don't want peace. They profit from conflict. They paid us to create an incident that would disrupt the summit. Lee pulled up information on the. They were a consortium member species, known for manufacturing weapons and military equipment. A failed peace summit would mean continued conflicts and more weapons sales. Captain, this is huge, Lee said. If a consortium species is hearing raiders to attack diplomatic vessels. We need proof, interrupted. Search that ship's computers, find the payment records, the communications, everything. Already on it, sir. Whilst team worked, the battle continued outside. The station defense ships were getting better, learning human tactics quickly. 2 more raiders were disabled. The remaining 4 tried to retreat, but pilot was faster. They're trying to jump to light speed, reported. Should I let them go? Made a split-second decision. No, disable their jump drives, all of them. We need to question every raider we can catch. It was an incredibly difficult shot. Jump drives were small, well-protected targets, but had trained on Earth, where split-second timing meant the difference between life and death in atmospheric flight. He took the shots. All 4 raiders lost their jump capability. They were trapped, unable to escape. Surrender now, broadcast to all raider ships, or we'll disable the rest of your systems and leave you drifting in space. The raiders surrendered. They had seen what humans could do. Fighting was pointless. As station security ships moved to secure the captured raiders, Commander Lee received the data from his team. Captain, we have everything. Payment records, encrypted communications, meeting logs. The hired the to attack the diplomatic ship and then create chaos at Outpost Meridian. They wanted to discredit the peace process. Can we prove it? Asked. Absolutely. This is solid evidence, enough to bring charges at the Consortium Council. Looked at his crew. They were all thinking the same thing. This information could start a major scandal, but it was also the right thing to do. Open a channel to the entire station. Make it wideband. I want everyone to hear this. The communications officer worked quickly. Channel open, sir. You're broadcasting to the whole station and every ship in the area. Took a breath. Attention all beings in this sector. This is Captain Jin of the Earth vessel Pioneer's Edge. We have just captured 7 raider ships that attacked this station. During interrogation, the raiders confessed to being hired by members of the government to disrupt the upcoming peace summit. We have recovered full payment records and communications as proof. There was silence across the station. Then chaos erupted. Every news feed, every diplomatic channel began discussing the revelation. They had just been exposed committing a serious crime in front of the entire galactic community. Captain, Lee said quietly, You just made some very powerful enemies." "Good," replied. "Maybe they'll think twice before hiring murderers to kill peaceful diplomats." Station commander called immediately. "Captain, this is Commander. I must apologize. You saved this station. You exposed a conspiracy. You have done more for the consortium in 3 days than most species do in years." "We were just doing our job, Commander." "No," said firmly. "You were doing what was right, even when it was difficult, even when it made powerful beings angry. The consortium owes you a great debt." Ambassador Aura appeared on another screen. "Captain, the government has been watching these events. We formally request that Earth be invited to join the Consortium Council as a full member species. We will sponsor your application ourselves." Felt the weight of what had just happened. 3 days ago, humanity was barely known in the galaxy. Now they were being invited to join the galactic government. "Ambassador, I'm honored, but I'm just a ship captain. This decision needs to come from Earth's government." "Of course," Aura agreed, "but I think they will accept. Your actions have shown the galaxy what humanity truly is. Not monsters from but protectors willing to stand against injustice." In the captain's chair felt proud of his crew. They had faced impossible odds and won. Not through violence alone, but through courage, skill, and the determination to do what was right. "Lee, send a full report to Earth Command," ordered. "Let them know what happened here. Let them know the galaxy is watching." "Yes, sir." As the crew began securing the captured ships and helping repair station damage, Engineer Park came to the bridge with an unexpected visitor. It was the young engineer. "Captain," and said nervously, "I wanted to thank you personally. You have shown us that strength and kindness can exist together, that beings from harsh worlds can choose to protect instead of conquer. My species will never forget what you have done." Shook the alien's hand gently, careful not to hurt the fragile being. "Thank you, and thank you for giving us a chance, for seeing past the fear." As left, Dr. Han approached. "Sir, the galactic news feeds are calling this the Meridian Incident. They're saying it changed everything, that humans proved themselves worthy of respect." "We proved we're willing to help," corrected. "Respect will take time, trust will take even longer, but it's a start." The Pioneer's Edge settled into dock beside the Harmony's Dream. Outside, station workers began repairs. Inside, a galaxy began to understand that humans were more than their fearsome reputation suggested. They were the ones who answered the call, and that changed everything. The Consortium Council chamber was enormous, a circular room with seats for hundreds of species. Captain stood in the center, feeling very small. Above him, representatives from across the galaxy watched and waited. Some looked friendly, others looked suspicious. All of them were curious. "Captain Jin of Earth," the council speaker began, "you and your crew have been summoned to explain your actions. The conspiracy has been exposed. 7 raider ships have been captured. Outpost Meridian was defended. But many council members have concerns about humanity's role in consortium space." Expected this. Dr. Han had warned him that some species would still fear humans, regardless of their heroism. A representative stood, his scales shimmering with anger. "The humans have interfered in consortium affairs without authorization. They have used military force in our space. They have made accusations against a member species. This is unacceptable." Murmurs of agreement came from several species. Others remained silent. Ambassador Aura rose from her seat, her gentle voice somehow filling the massive chamber. "With respect to my colleague, the humans saved my life and the lives of my crew. They exposed criminals within your own government who hired raiders to kill diplomats. Would you have preferred we all die to maintain your conspiracy?" The sat down abruptly, his face showing shame. The evidence against the corrupt faction in his government was overwhelming. They had already been arrested. Another representative stood, a being made of crystalline structures that chimed when he spoke. We appreciate what the humans did, but we must address the larger concern. Earth is classified as a Class 12. Humans are exceptionally capable of violence. How can we trust that they will not use this capability to dominate others? This was the real question, realized. Not whether humans were heroes, but whether they could be trusted with their own strength. "May I speak?" asked. The council speaker gestured permission. Chose his words carefully. Yes, Earth is a harsh world. Yes, humans evolved to survive in difficult conditions. Yes, we're capable of violence. But here's what the classification doesn't tell you. Earth also taught us cooperation, compassion, and community. When you live on a planet where nature itself is trying to kill you, you learn quickly that you need others to survive. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of dozens of different species. We learned to protect the weak because we were all weak once. We learned to share resources because hoarding meant someone would die. We learned to work together because alone we would fail. Yes, we can fight, but we also know when not to fight. We know the difference between strength and cruelty. A new voice spoke up. It was Station Commander. "The captain speaks truth. I witnessed human behavior during the attack on Outpost Meridian. They did not kill unnecessarily. They captured raiders when they could have destroyed them. They protected the station, including areas with no strategic value, simply because civilians were there. They taught our defense ships how to fight while fighting themselves. This is not the behavior of conquerors." More species began to speak, and was surprised to hear support from unexpected sources. Species he had never met spoke about watching the battle recordings, analyzing human tactics, and recognizing something important. Humans were disciplined warriors, not mindless killers. Engineer Park Woo-jin, sitting in the observers section, watched with pride. He had spent days working with and other alien engineers, sharing knowledge, learning from them, teaching them. They had stopped seeing him as a dangerous and started seeing him as a colleague and friend. The debate continued for hours. Some species wanted to restrict human travel. Others wanted to study Earth to understand how such a dangerous world could produce a civilization capable of compassion. A few wanted to establish formal alliances immediately. Finally, the council speaker called for quiet. "We will now vote on 3 proposals. First, whether to formally invite Earth to join the consortium as a full member species. Second, whether to impose restrictions on human military activities in consortium space. Third, whether to establish Earth as a protected ally with full diplomatic rights." Dr. Han, sitting beside Park, whispered, "This is it. Whatever happens next will define humanity's relationship with the galaxy for generations." The vote began. Species cast their decisions electronically, their choices appearing on a massive display. The first proposal, full membership, was failing. Too many species were not ready to accept humans as equals. The second proposal, restrictions, was also failing. Too many species recognized that restricting humans would be both insulting and impractical. The third proposal began to gain support. Protected ally status meant Earth would have diplomatic rights and trading privileges without immediate full membership. It was a compromise, a middle ground. The vote concluded. The third proposal passed with a strong majority. "Captain," the council speaker announced, "the consortium recognizes Earth as a protected allied species with full diplomatic rights. You may establish embassies, conduct trade, and travel freely within consortium space. However, Earth is not yet a full member. That status must be earned through time and continued positive relations." Bowed respectfully, "We accept these terms. Humanity seeks friendship, not domination. We will prove ourselves worthy of your trust." But before the session could end, Captain spoke again. "However, I must respectfully decline one condition. If the Council expects us to accept restrictions on defending ourselves or our allies, the answer is no. We will cooperate. We will follow consortium laws. We will seek peaceful solutions first. But if someone is in danger and we can help, we will help. That's not negotiable." The chamber fell silent. It was bold, possibly too bold. Commander Lee, watching from the observers section, held his breath. The council speaker's expression was unreadable. Then, surprisingly, he made a sound that translated as laughter. "Captain, I believe that is exactly why so many species voted to accept your people. You refuse to apologize for being capable. You refuse to be weak when strength is needed. But you also refuse to be cruel when kindness is possible. This is refreshing." Many council members showed agreement, their various forms of expression all conveying approval. Ambassador Ara stood once more. "The government wishes to be the first to establish a formal alliance with Earth. We propose a mutual defense pact and cultural exchange program. The proposal is noted and will be processed through proper channels," the council speaker said. Then he looked at, "Captain, I suspect your species will make many friends in the coming years, and probably a few enemies. The galaxy is watching to see what humanity will become." "We'll try not to disappoint," replied. After the session ended, the human crew gathered outside the council chamber. They were approached by representatives from dozens of species, all wanting to meet the famous who saved Outpost Meridian. Security Chief was surprised when several military leaders from other species asked her to teach them human combat tactics. "You think differently than we do," one explained. "You see battlefield patterns we miss. You react to danger faster. We want to learn from you." "Agreed, with one condition. I'll teach you how to fight, but I'll also teach you when not to fight. They go together." Dr. Han found herself surrounded by and cultural experts, all fascinated by Earth's ecosystem and how it shaped human evolution. She spent hours explaining Earth's biodiversity, its dangers, and its beauty. Engineer Park was recruited by 3 different species to help design better ships. "Human engineering is different," they explained. "You build things that can survive damage. Your redundancy systems are incredible. You think about what could go wrong and plan for it." Commander Lee was offered a position as a liaison officer to the Consortium Military Command. "We need someone who understands both human and consortium perspectives," they told him. "Someone who can help us work together." Lee looked at Captain, who nodded. "Take it. Earth needs someone in that position, someone we trust." As the crew prepared to return to the Pioneer's Edge, Ambassador Aura approached one final time. "Captain, I wanted to thank you personally, away from politics and cameras. What you did changed my species' understanding of the universe. We always believed that violence and compassion were opposites. You showed us they can coexist, that sometimes the most compassionate choice is to stand and fight." "And you taught us something too," Ambassador replied. "You were terrified of us, but you gave us a chance anyway. You looked past your fear and saw who we really were. That took courage." Ara's large eyes glistened with emotion. "Perhaps that is the real lesson, that all species must look past their initial fears and see each other truly. The peaceful must understand the strong, and the strong must protect the peaceful." "That sounds like the beginning of a real alliance," said. "Indeed. I look forward to the day when humans work side by side, each contributing their unique strengths to the consortium." The crew returned to their ship. As they prepared for departure, Pilot asked the question they were all thinking. "So what now, Captain? We changed the galaxy in a week. What do we do for an encore?" Smiled. "We go home. We report what happened. We let Earth decide what kind of relationship they want with the consortium. And then, we do what we came out here to do in the first place." "What's that, sir?" "We explore, we learn, we make friends, and if someone sends a distress call, we answer it." The Pioneer's Edge undocked from Outpost Meridian and moved toward the edge of the system. Behind them, the station's communications array broadcast messages of farewell from dozens of species. The humans had arrived as unknowns. They were leaving as allies. In his quarters, Captain recorded a final log entry. Captain's log supplemental. We came to the stars seeking knowledge and adventure. We found something more important, purpose. The galaxy is vast, ancient, and filled with wonders. It's also dangerous, complicated, and sometimes unjust. But that's okay. Because now the galaxy knows that humans are here, and we're the ones who answer the call. He paused, then added, Earth is a harsh world. It made us strong, but it also made us kind. I hope the galaxy remembers both parts, because that's what it means to be human. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying its crew back toward Earth. Behind them, the news of humanity's actions spread further. Some species remained fearful. Others became curious. Many wanted to meet these strange who chose compassion over conquest. On Earth, government officials received the reports with a mixture of pride, concern, and excitement. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. There was no going back now. They were part of something larger than themselves. In the years that followed, humanity would face many challenges. They would make mistakes, learn lessons, fight battles, and forge alliances. But they would always remember the moment when a distress call reached a human ship and a captain made a choice that changed everything. The galaxy had called for allies, answered, and in doing so proved that the most dangerous thing about humans was not their capacity for violence, but their refusal to ignore those in need. The Pioneer's Edge sailed through the darkness of space, carrying a crew that had become legends. They did not seek glory. They did not want fame. They simply wanted to explore, to help, and to show the galaxy that humans, despite coming from a world that would kill most species, had learned the most important lesson of all. True strength is knowing when to fight, when to show mercy, and when to simply extend a helping hand to those who need it. Somewhere in the vastness of space, another distress signal would someday be sent, and somewhere a human ship would hear it, and they would answer. Because that's what humans do, they answer the call.